not only me, but his son out of his apartment. We landed in a homeless shelter. And I was not known as Champress Curtis. I was known as resident 1625, sleeping in a twin-size bed with my son.
That's not true,
Sharing.
Did not kick her out.
When I went to court, when I went to juvenile court, they said that I had to pay for a DNA, and I didn't have no job at the time.
What is this about I'm just trying to be a nice guy?
When he
Because it doesn't matter if you a nice guy in the hospital.
He had affairs with my and my.
But that's when we was on our way out, Gina.
Your husband slept with 2 of your family members.
Yes, ma'am.
And so in retaliation, you slept with his brother.
So, Miss Curtis claims Mr. Buckley is the father of her 22-month-old son, Xavier, whose denial has turned their lives into a daytime TV drama, minus the commercial breaks. Mr. Buckley, not missing a beat, retorts by calling Miss Curtis a cheater and is so confident that the paternity test will exonerate him. He's practically ready to do a victory dance. This sets the stage for a highly charged emotional and legal telenovela, complete with plot twists centered around paternity and its implications. In the audience, people are already taking bets on the outcome, turning the courtroom into a makeshift Vegas. Brace yourselves, as what's coming up will redefine drama.
Miss Curtis, you say this court date is extremely important to you. You're here to prove to your ex-fiance, Mr. Buckley, that he fathered your 22-month-old son, Xavier, because his denial has left you homeless and in need of help.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Buckley, you say...
Did that just turn everything on its head? Mr. Buckley, in a twist that would make M. Night Shyamalan proud, shares his long-standing doubts about his ability to father children, thanks to a history with fertility treatments that had less success than a penguin in a desert. Despite these odds, the announcement of Miss Curtis's pregnancy threw him into a roller coaster of emotions, combining the hope of a miracle baby with the skepticism of a conspiracy theorist. This revelation not only adds a layer of vulnerability to Mr. Buckley's character, but also turns the paternity dispute into an episode of Maury that everyone's too embarrassed to admit they're invested in. Just when you think you've seen it all, get ready for an emotional roller coaster in the next clip.
And kicking us, not only me, but his son out of his apartment. We landed in a homeless shelter. And I was not known as Champress Curtis. I was known as resident 1625, sleeping in a twin-size bed with my son.
That's not true,
Sharing.
Did not kick her out.
Sharing everything with other residents in the homeless shelter.
Yes, that is true, Your Honor, but I allowed her to live in my apartment at that time. I was being nice to her. She got mad at me because I was with someone else. I didn't want a relationship with her. She told me she was gonna make my life a living hell while living in my apartment.
At this point, did you believe her son, Xavier, was your biological child?
No, Your Honor.
He said he had a little doubt in his mind, but that when he looked at Xavier, that was his son. That was his child, that he loved our child. He gave him his last name.
Your Honor, I don't think I can have kids for multiple reasons.
It only takes one fast one. One.
So you don't believe you can have children?
No, Your Honor.
Why?
I was in a relationship before and we tried to conceive a child. We went to fertility specialists and we were on medicine and kept up with ovulation dates and the whole nine. And that happened in not only that relationship, but with the following relationship that I was in.
Could there be a hint of humanity after all? The birth of Xavier introduces a plot twist that could soften the heart of a stone gargoyle, with Mr. Buckley shedding tears at the hospital, suggesting maybe he does have a soul after all. Miss Curtis's recounting of this soap opera-worthy moment suggests that despite the chaos, there might just be a sliver of hope for a Hallmark movie ending. This scene elevates the drama from a simple paternity squabble to an epic saga about the possibility of love and attachment that transcends DNA tests and legal battles, prompting viewers to stock up on tissues. The stage is set for an even more jaw-dropping development.
So take me to the day you gave birth.
I was in labor for 13 and a half hours. Mr. Buckley was with me for the whole 13 and a half hours. I have pictures of him at the hospital.
I'd like to see those.
I ended up having to have an emergency C-section because little Xavier's oxygen level dropped and he was in distress. They took me in for an emergency C-section and my mom came with me. And when I woke up and they wheeled me by the nursery to see him, Mr. Buckley was standing there with tears running down his face. That was the moment that I fell in love with Mr. Buckley. He'd been standing there since he came into the nursery until I got rode to my room about 2:30.
You won't believe your eyes with what's next. As the courtroom turns into a reality TV set, testimonies and accusations soar like pigeons in a park, especially when one witness decides to bring props to illustrate Miss Curtis's alleged escapades. The drama escalates faster than a soap opera cliffhanger, with both sides painting wildly different pictures of Miss Curtis's life and relationships during the baby-making season. This session not only highlights the struggle to find the truth in a sea of melodrama, but also makes everyone secretly grateful for their mundane lives. Stay tuned, because what happens next will leave you speechless.
She is extremely promiscuous. My witness here can tell you a little bit about that later, but
So you're saying, sir, in addition to your doubt, you also believe that Miss Curtis was very promiscuous at the time?
correct, Your Honor.
I'd like to hear from your witness. Please stand, ma'am. Hello, state your name for the court.
Anika Bunch.
Ms. Bunch, you are Mr. Buckley's
Friend.
All right. And what information do you have concerning Xavier's paternity?
I have a lot of information. I actually brought a sketch with me.
I would like to see it. The exhibit here, please step to it.
This right here, Your Honor, this is my house, my back door. And this is Mrs. Curtis' front door. And as you can see, I can see everything. I see you. When we found out she was pregnant, she had a boyfriend. He passed away. There were other men.
So what you're saying is from your back door.
That's not true, Your Honor. I lived at the top of a hill. She lived at the bottom.
In a courtroom scene straight out of a daytime drama, the big DNA test reveal drops like a bombshell.
Results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Curtis versus Buckley, when it comes to 22-month-old Xavier, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Buckley, you are not his father.
Oh, baby.
The episode starts with Miss Chapman confidently tossing the paternity hot potato into Mr. Hayes' lap, insisting that little Maurice Hayes Jr., their adorable 2-year-old mischief maker, is undeniably Mr. Hayes' offspring. She claims his denial is just a side effect of his new romance, probably clouding his judgment like a thick fog of love or lust. Mr. Hayes, on the other hand, is stuck in a paternity pickle, admitting his doubts about being the father, despite having already signed the birth certificate and even throwing in a name for good measure. He's now pitching for a name change, faster than a witness protection program, if the DNA tests show he's not the dad, setting the stage for a family drama that's juicier than a Thanksgiving turkey. Just when you think it couldn't get any spicier, watch what happens next.
Ms. Chapman, you and the defendant have an older child together, but you've brought him to court to prove your 2-year-old son, Maurice Hayes Jr., is his.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim he was excited during your pregnancy, named your baby, but now denies him because he has a new girlfriend.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Hayes, you say you've always doubted paternity of Maurice Jr.
Yes.
And you're just trying to do the right thing by signing the birth certificate, but you now say he's not yours and you want the plaintiff to change his name when the paternity test proves he's not your junior.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because if he could take care of somebody else's child, why can't he take care of his own child?
Miss Chapman fires back, urging Mr. Hayes to step up to the parenting plate for Maurice Jr., as he does for his other mini-me. She's calling out the parental performance gap here, highlighting a Christmas oversight that would make the Grinch look generous. Mr. Hayes, feeling cornered, disputes this, probably wondering if there's a return policy on fatherhood. And if you thought that was intense, the next revelation is a game changer.
He's not doing nothing for Maurice Jr. He barely does for Mariah. Like, for instance, on Christmas, he brought Mariah 5 presents. Didn't bring Maurice Jr. nothing.
For Christmas?
Yes.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Is that true, Mr. Hayes?
No, ma'am, she's telling a lie, Your Honor. I bought actually 6 gifts. I gave him 1 and gave her 5, and I gave both of them, I held both of them and gave both of them hugs.
Tell me about that doubt.
Only reason why I have that because when I was asking her was she pregnant, and I got a piece of letter in the mail saying that she was pregnant, but she also still was in denial. When I say she was like 4 months and my mother asked her was she pregnant, she says no, she's not. So I still was like, okay, how are you not pregnant? And I got a letter in the mail.
Why all this back and forth? I'm pregnant, I'm not pregnant?
Because, yeah, true enough, I told him I wasn't pregnant because I just had Mariah 4 months. She was only 4 months, and I was pregnant again, so I didn't know if I wanted to keep him, to be honest, or what.
The plot thickens as Miss Chapman whips out a social media post and a picture, turning the courtroom into an episode of CSI Paternity Edition. She's using these digital breadcrumbs to challenge Mr. Hayes' paternity denials, catapulting the dispute dispute into the age of Instagram and tweets, where not even family drama can escape the prying eyes of the public. The next twist in the tale is something no one saw coming.
Yes, I'd like to see that evidence. Jerome, will you hand it to me, please? What is this, ma'am?
In the state of Tennessee, once you sign the birth certificate,
That's what she was using against me.
they tell you that once you sign the birth certificate, it voids off DNA paternity testing.
So this is a pamphlet.
Yes, ma'am.
It says, for your child's sake, establish paternity. And it's basically an entire pamphlet with passages highlighted that talk about the issues you need to consider as it relates to paternity, signing a birth certificate, and if you have doubt, how you should not sign the birth certificate. It says parents should think carefully before acknowledging paternity. If either of you do change your mind, you have 60 days to rescind the acknowledgement in writing. If either parent has any doubts about who the father is, forms should be signed.
I was just trying to be a good guy. She explained all that to me. I was just trying to be a good guy
2
to her.
weeks. He said he waited till the baby was 2 weeks, said the baby not his. That paper say 60 days. Why did he not write them?
I had to pay for DNA, and I didn't have no job at the time.
What is this about I'm just trying to be a nice guy?
When he clearly
Because it
said-
doesn't matter if you a nice guy in the hospital, but then you a no-show guy after you leave.
It's a picture of Maurice Jr. He claimed that he didn't have that Facebook. Oh, yes, he did, because there got his name tagged in it right there.
He's here.
Yes, Maurice.
And you tagged
Maurice.
Maurice Hayes here. This is the same Facebook name that's used on the previous text.
Now, Miss Webb, Mr. Hayes' current squeeze, who drops a bombshell by sharing a message from another contender claiming to be Maurice Jr.'s dad. It's like an episode of Maury, but without the comforting presence of a TV host to mediate the madness. This revelation adds a spicy twist to the case, turning the drama dial up to 11 and sending the quest for truth on a wild goose chase. But just when you think you've seen it all, the saga takes an even wilder turn.
I was talking to the guy who he was talking about, but he could not run the time that the doctor say I conceived, no.
So you were intimate with someone else.
Yes.
But you're saying that wasn't during the window of conception.
No, ma'am.
She used my mama's phone to talk to other guys.
I sure did. Why?
I never-
did, yes.
She-
Let's get this clear.
Pumas, you mean we buy her Jordan?
Yeah, Pumas
Jordan,
and Jordan.
Air Force
White Air
One.
Force Ones, black
White Air Force One, baby. I never
One.
saw no white Air Force One or black Air Force One. And the one that I did
So
see,
when-
I bought it by my
Alright.
pocket.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any more complicated, the spotlight shifts to the tear-jerking and wallet-emptying aftermath of the paternity dispute. Both supposed parents dive into the emotional whirlpool and the financial tornado that their little tete-a-tete has spawned, discussing how their love saga has turned into a soap opera affecting not just their relationship, but the kiddos too. This chapter lays bare the heartaches and headaches of the saga, painting a vivid picture of the chaos unleashed by the paternity pandemonium. And believe it or not, the drama escalates even further in the next segment.
This is my first time hearing about it.
Saying I would
Hearing about
like
it.
to see my child. And he was talking about Maurice Jr.?
Yes, ma'am.
This is my first time hearing about that.
Yes.
And so when you saw this text, did you confront Miss Chapman?
Yes, ma'am. I called. I said, why? I said, how did that guy get my number? She said, I don't know. So I don't know what him and Keisha had going, but I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it because.
So when's the last time he's seen your children?
She won't let him because of the baby.
Thank you.
As if the plot needed more seasoning, a mysterious envelope arrives, thick with the promise of answers, yet potentially stuffed with more questions. Mr. Hayes and Miss Webb eye it like it's the last piece of pie at Thanksgiving dinner, knowing full well that inside could be the recipe to either mend their fractured family or add another layer to the already complicated paternity pastry. The anticipation builds, leaving everyone on the edge of their seats, popcorn in hand, as they brace for the next episode in this never-ending soap opera. And you won't believe what's coming next.
This is a copy of a text log that says,
that's it.
not her today, I'm come get her tomorrow. I got something to do today.
Yep.
You write back, Ms. Chapman, her or them.
Yes.
And then you write back, you write back her.
Yes.
Yes,
And
sir.
then
You're right.
you write back, you might as well forget it about it, bye.
Yes.
Because you serious.
Yes.
If he's not coming to get both children, then he can't see either one.
Yes.
In the bustling courtroom, filled with the murmur of anticipation, the judge, wearing a solemn expression but secretly thrilled for this moment of daytime drama glory, dramatically waves the paternity test results in the air.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hayes, you are not the father.
That's fine. He can have his name back.
Everyone's heads turned as they heard about the funny mix-up with two brothers, Steve Shockley and Stephen Michael Shockley, both thinking they might be the dad of 31-year-old Desiree. Desiree, in a courtroom, head joked about needing to buy 2 Father's Day cards, making everyone chuckle in a tense moment.
There are 2 brothers, both claiming to be your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
How does that make you feel?
I don't really know how to feel because I don't know if I'm supposed to build a relationship with them as a daughter or a relationship with them as an uncle.
Now, for the record, the two of you are brothers who actually share the same name, Steve Shockley and Stephen Michael Shockley. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Steve says he might be Desiree's dad, but Michael's like, no way, I was always the dad. This stirs up family drama, kind of like a soap opera. The judge, trying to lighten the mood, jokes about them having enough drama to fill a TV show season.
You are 31-year-old Desiree's father. So, Mr. Michael Shockley, you say there was never any question as to paternity until your brother came forward claiming to be her dad. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Shockley, you say she's your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've held it in long enough.
Yes, ma'am.
This has been, how many years? Secret, 31?
31 years.
And you say it's time for the truth to be revealed.
Yes, Your Honor.
But Mr. Michael Shockley, you say there's never been any question of paternity.
No, Your Honor. When we found out Gina was pregnant, we was together, and she said it was mine, so I believe it was mine. She's always been my little girl.
Then there's a moment straight out of a movie, when Stevie finds his wife and brother, Michael, together in bed. This mess starts the whole who's the dad drama. Steve cracks a joke about keeping things in the family, making some people gasp and others try not to laugh.
When I first met Gina, we met at a friend's house, and I seen her, and we just automatically had that connection. And then we was together for 5 years, had a great relationship with each other, and then we got married, and then I found out that my brother and Gina was together. So while we were still married, and then
that will do it.
I was told by family members that they was together. But
That's how you found out?
Yes, ma'am. I had to find out for myself. So I went to the family member's house. Someone let me in. I walked in the bedroom where they was at. I uncovered their head, seen that it was them too. I covered her head back up and walked out and left.
Gina, Desiree's mom, admits to the affair with Michael, tossing in previous mess-ups by Steve. She's like, oops, maybe it was the wine, leaving everyone in the courtroom wondering if they should feel sorry for her or just laugh.
How did you end up sleeping with your husband's brother?
Well, it's a long story. Steve left a lot of part out in our relationship. He had affairs with my and my.
But that's when we was on our way out, Gina.
Still.
Your husband slept with 2 of your family members.
Yes, ma'am.
And so in retaliation, you slept with his brother.
Steve and Desiree finally talk about him being her dad, but it's super confusing and emotional for Desiree.
He's trying to get away from you to keep Desiree from you, and that's not true.
You always kept her away from me.
Miss Groves, if you were able to admit to your daughter 6 months to a year ago that Mr. Shockley could in fact be her biological father, did you throughout these years have doubts of your own that you entertained at some point?
I really, in my heart, I believe that Mike is her daddy.
Mr. Pickett claims he may not be the biological father of his son after his wife admitted to an affair. Both are seeking a paternity test to see if their son is Mr. Pickett's biological child, highlighting a mix of hope, betrayal, and the desire to mend their broken family. It's like they're on a Maury Povich episode, but with less shouting and no audience to cheer them on.
You claim that when your son turned 3, the defendant, your wife, admitted to you that you may not be his biological father. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test, seeking a definitive answer today with hopes that your son is biologically yours. Now, Miss Pickett, you admit to stepping out on your husband and cheating around the time that you conceived your son, Patrick. You claim that you are not the only one to blame. You say Mr. Pickett has cheated on you with at least 8 women you know of.
Guess what just happened? Mr. Pickett's got a hunch his lady's been too friendly with someone else while he was gone, talking about her long trips and some dude hanging around. He's all mixed up inside, feeling like a detective without the cool hat or the sneaky background tunes. Hang on tight, you're not gonna believe what's up next.
I took an extended vacation, let's call it, right? During that vacation, we had separated. So when I get back from the vacation, I go to like different houses that she's at, and periodically I see this same dude at the different houses. I think that's my mom's boyfriend. I'm like, for real? So I ask her, she denies it. Now, I hate these extended vacations, Your Honor. I took another one. He said, okay, well, we was at the house and I used to go over for her friend, and her friend admitted that he wasn't there for her, even though they claimed that was her brother.
Wait, no, I don't feel you. Back it up.
I'm gonna back it up.
Say it again.
Her friend was dating my friend. he told me that the other guy that was there was for Shanae. So
it was one of those type things.
It was one of those type of things.
You thought that was wild? Wait till you hear this. Mrs. Pickett fesses up to goofing up, but swears it was only once. The timing of their kiddo's arrival makes Mr. Pickett wonder if he's really the dad, showing how messy their love story is. It's like watching a drama show, but for real, and no evil twins popping out. But hey, the next part, it's gonna knock your socks off.
In the back of my mind, I wish I could blow this little thought out.
So you're back together?
We back. It's cool. Swimming pools on the side of the house, everything's good.
Okay.
So I ask her, she denies. I ask her, she denies.
What do you ask her?
I'm asking her, is these my kids? Is this my son? Have you been cheating? You know, I love you. I quit cheating. And you can ask the girls, they be like, man, I'm going
uproar.
They mad right now on Facebook, all that, I hate you, woo, all that.
The drama's not cooling down. Mr. and Mrs. Pickett are on edge about what the DNA test will say about their family's future. Mr. Pickett's all heart about his boy, hoping he's his, and that he didn't pass on his 2 left feet. It's kinda like a scene from a talk show, but with more laughs and less fighting. Stick around. What comes next will flip the script.
She admitted to you she made a mistake.
When she admitted it, I said, this is the first thing I said, Jerron. I said, after all this time, this is my
exact. How you did it?
I did just like this. And I was in short pants, because we were supposed to go swimming, and I just lost the whole swimming mode. I was like, and then I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Whoa. And then that was like, I walked outside.
I went away on vacation, I let my family down. I left you out here. You made some mistakes, so in the end, I'm gonna forgive you. That's what you were saying to her.
It's over, I'm gonna let it go.
And I'm gonna let it go, and we're gonna try to put this marriage back together.
Based on the fact that I wanna be this little dude's.
So the results of today's test are crucial for you.
Yes.
You love him and you're hoping that he's your child.
Because it's just like, this is my dude. Like, if you see me with him, you'd be like, oh, that boy loves his kids. Oh my God, he loves his kids.
I can tell you do. Now, Miss Pickett, how does it make you feel to hear your husband speak this way about Patrick and yet have to deal with the fact that there's some doubt?
It hurts me because I am an honest woman. Even though it took so long to let him know what happened, I still told him, and I didn't let this thing happen for so long. It only happened one time, and it didn't happen for a long time at all.
You ain't seen nothing yet. A new voice jumps in, saying Mr. Pickett can't let go of the past and likes to be the boss. This twist shines a light on their rocky ride and the hurdles to get over their past mess. Even their dog's like, enough talk, let's play, as if to cut through the heavy air. But trust me, the story's about to get even juicier.
Thank you for joining us today. So, what do you have to add to this? Do you believe what Mr. Pickett is saying, that he's a forgiving man, he's made some mistakes?
No. First of all, Brandon never forgave her for anything she's done. He loves his kids dearly. He wants to be with them all the time. He has them now, but he's never forgiven her. He's never given her a chance for anything. Like, she can't work, she can't social with people, she can't do nothing.
You saying he's controlling?
He's very controlling. He's very intimidating to her. That's why she's standing here quiet now.
Hold your horses for this one. The couple's trying to patch things up, talking about trust issues and who's in charge. They're treading on thin ice, trying to find a way back to each other. Mr. Pickett cracks a joke about turning their mess into a reality TV show. The Picketts, picket fence or picket line. Keep your eyes peeled. The big news is just around the corner.
And you want to let your sister, is talking more than you, control your life, then I have to find somebody else that's going to love me and my children, because I'm here for love of family.
So because she's speaking up for me means...
Wait a minute.
Means that you can't control your own issues. It's not me controlling you, it's your family controlling if you really want to get on it.
You want this marriage to work?
No, I've been wanting a divorce.
I said when I tried,
so
that's what you got.
You're not willing to try necessarily.
I'm fed up. I'm tired of everything.
What
all
are
the arguing, all the accusing. I mean, I did be honest and tell him. I told him a little too late, but I still told him, and
the child
I don't want to
carrying
continue
now,
to
do
keep
you
doing
believe
this.
it is Mr. Pickett's child?
Yes.
It's almost time for the big reveal. The paternity test results are in.
When it comes to 4-year-old Patrick, Mr. Pickett, you are his father.
Oh, yeah. Look, I got something for you. Hold on. Ah, let's see.